The Sega Teradrive has blast processing. The Core i7 doesn't. So what does blast processing do? And what happens if you don't have blast processing? Well, this is what happens if you don't have blast processing. The Core i7 doesn't have blast processing and therefore doesn't have the power to keep up with the Sega. The awesome machine that you see here is the Sega Teradrive. The Sega Teradrive is a personal computer, runs on an 8286, is built by IBM and Sega at some point in the early 90s. It can play Sega Mega Drive games using the cartridge slot here and Sega Mega Drive controllers which plug in there. And they're no different to a normal Mega Drive controller. You could probably use a Master System controller if you needed to, but I don't know whether it works with the power base converter or whatever it's called. And then of course you have, which wasn't uncommon for the time, a keyboard and mouse input for the PC half. Obviously you have your bog standard things like power button, which has an ingenious mechanism inside. I hope that never breaks because it'll be hard to repair it. Volume slider, headphone socket, and you can switch between Mega Drive and PC mode. And I wouldn't do it that quickly whilst it was running because I'd probably break it. The keyboard has a lot of funny Japanese writing on it, which I don't understand because I don't know Japanese, but it does accept English input. It runs IBM DOS 4.0J, Japanese version obviously, but like I say, you can use an English keyboard. I will be, because this has never been opened and I don't intend to change that now. So yeah, basically I'll be reviewing this system and just walking you through what it does, you know, and whether or not you should probably get one or not, as the case may be, should you come across one anywhere. So here goes. Right, you'll have to excuse my rather amateurish camera work today. Everything's kind of a new setup at the moment. I don't know how much light is on me or anything, but it's nice to actually have good quality for a change. Yeah, I've got some new gear and it all seems to be working nicely. So yeah, the first thing that we're going to have to do, as with any system, is set it up, because, you know, logic would imply that any system that isn't actually set up or plugged in isn't going to work. So we shall get round to that round about now, I think, because I haven't got anything else to do. And I'm straight back on form with an immediate issue. It turns out I wasn't supplied with a cable for this monitor here, which I don't doubt I could make one. But it's the early hours of the morning, and I don't think the electric store would be particularly pleased if I turned up now. That'd be if there was anyone there at all. There's the back of the Teradrive. Doesn't really have anything vastly interesting, I suppose, by these days' standards. You've got serial, parallel. Oh, now those are interesting. Video and audio outputs. Looks like we'll have to use those. I shall have to hook it up to my TV. I think I do have a monitor that I could use. I think you'd have to use a multi-sync monitor. I don't even know if you can output the Mega Drive side of things to the monitor. I think you can, but I'm not sure. There's the little switch that determines between the two. And that's just like the X port on the back of the Model 1 Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, allowing for X modem or whatever goes in there. I've never plugged anything into it other than a link to a PC, which would be kind of pointless on this, seeing as I think they are linked internally. I heard that some people used them as a cheap way to develop games in the early 90s, so they must be linked somewhere inside. Actually, before I set it up, let's have a quick look inside it, see just what hardware's actually in there. Right, I am about to remove this cover. That really could use a clean. It was stuck in a warehouse over in Hong Kong for quite a long time before I got hold of it. Actually, that brings me to the cost. That cost me about £250. Oh, I have to take this out. I forgot about that. About £250, but then it cost me about the same again in postage. And then there was yet another cost which I hadn't foreseen. Don't know how I could have overlooked it, but we shall get to that shortly. Seeing as I forgot about that part there, that's for the Sega CD. It had its own version, but I don't think it ever came out, because this system didn't do very well. So I shall remove that and take away the cover, and obviously I will only be gone a split second to you, but I'll be back when I've done that. Well, I've turned the machine round a little so you can get a better view of what's in there. That's where that Sega CD thing is, just like on the regular console you have this part here that can be removed. My fingers are a little too big. It was designed for the Japanese market though. Every Japanese person I've met has smaller hands than me. Actually most people have smaller hands than me anyway, so that's not really saying anything. There's our Motorola 68K clone there. Just remove the dust. I don't know how well you can read that. I'll try and up the precision. That might help a little bit. Yeah, there we go. There. Let's see, what else do we got? It's all pretty standard gear. Sega. Now, having a Sega chip in your machine, that makes you feel good. Your machine doesn't have a Sega chip in it, I bet you. No idea what half of these chips are. I haven't looked into it. Now, here is our main processor. This is a Model 3, and I know there were hardware differences between them. I think our light source is going. We've gone blurry all of a sudden. Well, that is an AMD 286. Runs at 10 megahertz in this model, although in other models the speed may be different. Yeah, I think some of them were at 8 megahertz. This is that ingenious power switch mechanism. Watch the metal rod and that black piece there. I honestly hope that never breaks, because that would be really hard to fix. I hope that power supply never breaks either. And what is it? How many watts? I don't know. Not a lot, I would imagine. Some proprietary floppy drive, proprietary hard drive, EDO RAM, I think there's about 4, maybe 8 meg in there. CMOS battery, it's all pretty standard. And there's an ISA slot allowing for expansion to be made. Just about there. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And obviously there's where our cartridge slot is, right near the Sega CD connector. No idea where the Z80 is in here. I mean, it must be in here somewhere, or it could be an emulated device. I've never really looked for it. I don't care as long as it works, but I have no idea what one of those connectors, that connector there, I don't know what that does. Anyway, now I'll set it up. And not the prettiest setup in the world, but it's all rigged up, and now we are ready to go. All that remains is to plug it into the wall, so yeah, good idea to do that now. Well, I say plug it into the wall, we shall plug it into my splitter down here, which has 4 outlets. No idea what that block's for there. I should probably check that. Ah, now. Yeah, that. Crap. Right, well, there's a second part, so look in the video responses and go and watch it. Hopefully. Whatever, just enjoy. But you may be surprised. Yeah, hope you enjoy it.